So let's see. If you were to invest $100 a month from age 25 to age 65 or age 30 to age 70, 40 years, $100 a month. Let's put it in a Roth IRA so that it grows tax-free. And I'm going to recommend a good growth stock mutual fund that has an average annual return of 12%. I own one that's done that for over 75 years. Average. Now, some years it makes 18 and some years it makes 4. But the average annual return is about 12% for 75 years. So let's just say you did that. Now, I know some people think that can't happen, but this is an example to help you understand how numbers work. And I've done it. My 401k has been funded, and my Roth IRAs have been funded, and anything else I could fund has been funded because even though I'm a natural spender, I figured out that I would have more to give and more to live if I saved and invested. And I've done a lot of that in good growth stock type mutual funds. Now, were you doing that in a growth stock mutual fund, were it to average 12%, were you to put $100 a month in? Now, what do you spend $100 on? I'll guarantee you this. 95% of you listening to me right now do not do a unique written budget every month unique to that month. Almost no one does. Those that do, however, find all kinds of money that's being lost because your checking account is a freaking sieve. Money leaks out of it like you're sending it to Congress or something. You have no idea where your money goes. And you make more than your parents made. You make more than a lot of your friends make, and you make more than any other country in the world, virtually, personal income. And you're freaking broke. And so let's just establish here that you can find $100. Latte breath. Let's establish that you could find $100, Mr. and Mrs. Cable. You spend $100 on things you don't even realize you did it. You impulse more than $100 at Target every month. The reason they check your receipts at Costco and Sam's on the way out the door is not to make sure you didn't shoplift. It's because it's federal law. You spend $200 or you're not allowed out. I think it's easy, if we sit here and discuss it a minute, to think about $100. Now, $100 is a lot of money. But $100 invested every month, from age 25 to age 65, averaging 12% in a good growth stock mutual fund Roth IRA, is $1,176,000. So if you're listening to this show and you are under 40 years old and you don't retire with $1 million, that's no one's fault but yours. It's your fault in this country if you retire broke. It's your fault because you made a freaking fortune in your working lifetime. You work your butt off your whole life and you have nothing to show for it. Nothing. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. America, it is way past time for a renaissance in the art of personal finance. It is way past time for you to get your freaking act together. For every one of you listening to Not Retire a Millionaire is absurd. It's absurd. Average household income in America today is $50,000. If you say 15% of that, that's $7,500 a year. If you do that in your 401k with no match, into Roth IRAs, into good growth stock mutual funds, you would retire with around $7.5 million if you say 15% of your income. I don't know if I agree with your set of assumptions. Well, shut up unless you do something about it. Because my set of assumptions have made me rich. So why don't you use my set of assumptions instead of your set of assumptions? Because you're sitting on your assumption, doing nothing. It's time for you to get up off your assumption and go save some money. Way past time. Don't you think? So maybe I'm wrong. $7.5 million. Let's say I'm half wrong. So you end up with $3 million. Shut up! Shut up! Maybe you can't save 15% of your income because you're so deeply in debt and you've not followed these steps to get out of debt. Well, then follow the steps and get out of debt so that you can. But maybe you save half that amount. And so you only end up with, let's say, okay, let's just do this. Instead of $7.5 million, let's say that I'm 90% wrong because you're a loser. Let's just call it that. You're a loser, and I'm 90% wrong. That's $750,000 you would have, which is a whole heck of a lot more than social insecurity. Some of you are walking around right now, and your best shot at retirement is you're thinking, I sure hope the government, which is well known for its ability to handle money, will take care of me. Well, what a stupid butt plan is that? That's ridiculous. $100 a month saved from age 25 to age 65 is $1,176,000. There is no excuse for you to retire broke. 15% of the average household income in America saved from age 30 to age 70, age 25 to age 65. Average household income being $50,000, 15% of that being $7,500 is $7.5 million. If I'm half wrong, it's $3 million. And let's just go with the assumptions here for a second, okay? Since we're talking about assumptions. I set you up in an average household income, and for 40 years you never got a raise using those numbers. Now, let me help you with this. If you start at average and you don't get a raise for 40 years, you are a loser. Starting at average is one thing, but if you start at average and you don't get a dime raise for 40 years, you're a loser. Losers in our country can retire millionaires. Isn't that bizarre? That's how dynamic this economy is. But you're too freaking worried about The Bachelor or who got thrown off the island to get control of your own life and your own expenses and sit down and do a budget and look in the mirror at your immature self and say no so you can put a couple of $100 away a month so you can retire with dignity instead of being a burden on society and on your children. You can't give to anybody because you're too freaking broke to help anybody else, and you've got all these great ideas about how other people need help. You want to find out who needs help? Get you a mirror. You need help. It's time to save money, people. It's time to save money. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.